Hello, I thought I probably wasn't going to talk a great deal about Boris's claims of a parallel between Brexit and the Ukraine war. This is something that has dominated some of our cheaper newspapers, the Sunday Times and so on. But so it falls to President Zelensky to seize the heights again, and he does so in a speech today to the Israeli Parliament, the Knesset, and in this speech, he makes 2 points which stand out. The first, he says, "We want to live. Our neighbours want to see us dead," and indeed, we know that there are soldiers from the Wagner troop who have entered Ukraine and who apparently are intent on assassinating the president. We also know, or at least Mr. Zelensky has told us, that he says they're using these words again, the final solution in relation to us, the Ukrainian nation. It was said at a meeting in Moscow, the final solution. And he pointed out that it was 102 years ago, on the 24th of February, the day that Russia invaded Ukraine, that the Nazi Party was launched in Germany. I don't know how serious that is, but it's the Kremlin people who've been hammering on about Mr. Zelensky and Ukraine being the Nazis in this operation. And one of the people who's been commenting quite vigorously in a pro-Putin way, Putin-esque, has pointed out that there was an attack in Odessa on the old Communist Party headquarters in 2014 in May, and he says 50 people were burnt by the Ukrainian Nazis. Not really true. First of all, the numbers are wrong. I think it was 42. And secondly, this was a result of a riot between opposing sides, and long before Mr. Zelensky was appointed president in 2019. Mr. Zelensky's presidency was to clean up this mess. And I think, frankly, Mr. Zelensky appears a very inspiring leader. Far from the neo-Nazi that President Putin is branding him as being. And how can he be a neo-Nazi when his background is Jewish, when his family, when some of his family perished in the Holocaust? This is nonsensical propaganda. The real truth lies much closer to home and much closer to Mr. Putin and his demonic ambitions. We also know, so the other day there was a theatre, an opera house bombed, missile attacked in Mariupol, and then just to the side of it is a fairly large art school where 400 people had been sheltering. That was also attacked. These blackguards seem absolutely determined to attack civilian targets. There is no excuse for the bombing of these buildings, none at all. And so far, the people who were caught in the theatre bombing have not fully managed to escape from it. They're stuck in that theatre. So many of them are stuck. Mr. Putin has blood all over his hands. To think of that Peaky Blinders moment. Mr. Putin cannot hold his head high. For that reason, the peace negotiations which have to take place must take place sooner rather than later. I think the longer this drags on, the less Mr. Putin has to lose. Because he's backed up against the wall. He has nothing to lose. He has so little to lose. And when someone has nothing to lose, they're very, very dangerous. Do follow the channel. do ring the bell and do leave your comments. I'd be so interested to hear what you've got to say.